There are two types of leaders in the world. One who is there to serve a greater cause, and another where the cause is there to serve them. Are we self-serving people using whatever enterprise in life we're committing our lives to forward our agenda, our self-aggrandizement and contribution we can make? Or is it the opposite way around, that we are committing ourselves with Mesirat Nefesh to make a difference in the world, to serve a greater cause? If in the process it serves us, that's fine. But are we the focus, or is the cause the focus? Put differently, are we the center of our world and Hashem's values and causes are there to serve us? Or are we an Eved Hashem, to be a Kiddush Hashem, where we commit ourselves and our talents to make a difference in Hashem's world? This, I believe, is the great transformation of Yosef, who was the first type of leader, somehow using his dreams and everything he was involved in his youth to serve him. And yet, as he grows up, especially as he comes out of prison and becomes the viceroy of Egypt, as we see in this week's parasha and last week's parasha, he becomes a changed man. Indeed, Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch says in the beginning of Parashat Vayeshev that we see a certain ktsat yuhara, a certain arrogance. It seems, says Rav Hirsch, when you look at Yosef in the beginning, that it's all about him. After all, which young child comes and tells his parents, his siblings, that they're all going to bow down to him? Which young child spends time? The Na'arhu, as Rashi brings the Midrash, spent a lot of time, or Sema Narut, combing his hair in the mirror and making sure that he presented himself the way that he wanted to be presented. He was also the one who tittle-tailed, who would go and he would make sure that all of whatever indiscretions his brothers did were reported directly to his father. It seems, says Rav Hirsch, that Yosef was the center of his world. But we see in last week's parasha when he comes out of prison, and in this week's parasha when he reveals himself to his brother, Yosef is a changed man. Yosef HaTzadik, the great leader of that generation, one of the greatest Jews of all time. Where do we see that Yosef is no longer the center of his world, but he is there to serve Hashem? In a number of places. In 3 psukim following one after the other, when he reveals himself to his brother, he tells his brothers the following. He says, "It's not you who sent me to Egypt. Don't beat yourselves too much. Forgive yourselves." He said, "It is true that you sold me to Egypt. It's true. But you didn't send me to Egypt." You see, the old Yosef would have said, "Take it personally. How could you do this to your brother? I'm the center of my world. How could you do such a thing to me?" The new Yosef tells the brothers, "You may have sold me, true, but it is Hashem who sent me." 3 times he says, "Atem achartem oti, ki achartem oti," you sent me. But 3 times he emphasizes, "Ki lemichya shlachani Elokim," Hashem sent me. "Vayishlacheni Elokim lifnechem, lo atem shlachtem oti." 3 times. The shlichut, me coming over here, is not your actions. You sold me, yes. I arrived in Egypt through the shlichut of Hashem. I no longer live in Yosef's world, but Yosef lives in Hashem's world. May we all, each and every one of us, follow the example of Yosef and be able to be in every endeavor and enterprise that we commit our lives to, not to be self-serving, but to be selfless in serving a greater cause, to live in Hashem's world and commit our talents and to commit every fiber in our being to further the values of Hashem, to make the cause of the klal, in the words of Rav Kook, that it's the prat who's there to serve the klal and not the klal to be self-served through the prat. May we be zocheh, each and every one of us, to this type of Mesirat Nefesh, committing ourselves to a cause greater than ourselves and making the world a much better place with selfless commitment for us, having been present in it and endeavors that we choose to commit ourselves to. Shabbat Shalom.